When we say free speech, we're not talking about unfettered speech. Free speech as a phrase has a meaning. It's a principle in and of itself. Yes, it's enacted by the First Amendment in the Constitution, and it talks about that notion. But the notion of free speech itself is separate from what is in the Constitution. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of IDRYB Reacts. I have got some breaking news for you. I don't know if you heard, but Elon Musk bought Twitter. Elon Musk bought Twitter. I'm sure you guys have, been following the story and hearing all the details. So I'm not going to drudge up everything. But long story short, it all started when the Babylon Bee was banned for a joke. Arguably. And then Elon decided to become the largest shareholder, getting almost 10% of the company, trying to get in there and make some changes in the name of free speech. That really didn't happen, so he tried to go after a board seat. He tried to do that, and it seemed like that wasn't going to let him do what he wanted to do either. So he said, F it. I'm buying the whole thing. And today, I believe it was this morning, the deal went through. The deal was accepted by Twitter, and now Elon owns it. So I don't feel the need to go through every little detail. I feel like there's other places that are going to do that. So I figured let's just read a surface level article here and dive into some of the tweets of what people are thinking. And let's see how you guys feel compared to other people. So this is from the New York Times. Buying Twitter, Elon Musk will face reality of his free speech talk. Tech's big shots have learned again and again that free speech isn't so simple. What happens when Mr. Musk owns Twitter? We won't read the whole thing, just the main thing by, again, I'm terrible with names, but Shira Ovide. Let's dive right in. And a decade ago, Twitter executives, including the chief executive Dick Costolo, declared that the social media site was the free speech wing of the Free Speech Party. Already that gives us red flags because the Free Speech Party definitely used to be the Democratic Party. And as we can see, what we're about to get into, that's not so much the case anymore. The free speech wing of the Free Speech Party. That stance meant that Twitter would defend people's ability to post whatever they wish and be heard by the world. Since then, Twitter's been dragged into the morasses over disinformation peddlers, government's abuse of social media to incite ethnic violence, and threats by elected officials to imprison employees over tweets they didn't like. Like Facebook, YouTube, and other internet companies, Twitter was forced to morph from hardliner on free expression to speech nanny. And we've all seen that, become a large problem, especially on the anti-establishment side of things. I have been hearing people talk about it more in a left versus right. I mean, I'm sure if you tally up the numbers, there are more people on the right who identify with being on the right that have been affected by this, but it is definitely all over, and it has nothing to do with Republican or Democrat. It has to do with the establishment narrative. So continuing on, today, Twitter has pages upon pages of rules prohibiting content such as material that promotes sexual child exploitation. Let's be really clear about one thing. That is a good thing. When we say free speech, we're not talking about unfettered speech. Free speech as a phrase has a meaning. It's a principle in and of itself. Yes, it's enacted by the First Amendment in the Constitution, and it talks about that notion. But the notion of free speech itself is separate from what is in the Constitution. So when we're talking about free speech, we're talking about people who are not expressing the things that collectively we've all decided are not good for discourse. Things like this child exploitation stuff, direct calls to violence, doxing, those things across the board, we have already decided that those are not the types of speech that we want to protect. And absolutely, there are some types of speech that we protect and some types that we don't, and we still call it free speech, because the spirit of the phrase free speech is that as long as I'm not impeding on anybody else's right to express themselves, I should be allowed to do the same. And so when you get into these exceptions, then we're talking about situations where your speech is now impeding the rights of other people. So that's really where I think a lot of again, I'm going to use leftists, but again, it's not really that simple. But just for brevity, then it's a lot of leftists who will talk about like, oh, you want free speech, so what? You want this CP, we'll call it, or you want like, no. What I want is to be able to express myself freely and openly that doesn't hurt anybody else. I think that's a pretty simple concept. And I'm not talking about what is protected or not protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution. I'm talking about the concept of free speech itself. So getting back in here real quick. Yeah, coordinated government propaganda. So today, Twitter has pages and pages of rules prohibiting content such as child exploitation, coordinated government propaganda, offers of counterfeit goods, and tweets wishing for someone to fall victim of a serious accident. When it comes to that, I feel like that should be protected as long as it is. So sorry to interrupt your podcast experience. I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. And if you really love it, there's some support links in the description. I would love if you could help out the channel. And back to the show. Not a direct call to go do this thing or that thing, but I even, I'm more on the side of, if somebody tells you to go end yourself, then I don't necessarily think that should be a bannable offense on its own. We need to be able to take these things in a broader context, but just that alone shouldn't be enough to get you banned. I definitely don't think you should be saying it to people, but that is besides the point. That's not the point here. The point is, what are you allowed to say? So the past 10 years have seen repeated confrontations between high-minded principles of Silicon Valley's founding generation of social media companies and the messy reality of a world in which free speech means different things to different people. And again, this comes back to, what do I always talk about? The leftists' semantic obfuscation. Free speech now means unfettered speech to the leftists. And so they can argue that this isn't a good thing because there's some limits. But that's a straw man, because people who are championing this type of free speech already agree with that point and don't want child exploitation, any of that. Again, gratuitous violence. That feels to me like something that you can decide if you want to see that, and you can just click a box. No, I don't want to see gratuitous violence. Do you want to see cursing? You want all of those things can be handled in a way that is better than what Twitter and the other social media platforms have been doing. So again, I don't want to read this whole thing, but just to get a little picture. Now, Elon Musk, who on Monday, so it was yesterday, Monday, who struck a deal to buy Twitter for roughly $44 billion, wades directly into that fraught history. Successive generations of Twitter's leaders, tweets must flow. There was a quote here from Elon Musk. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. That is an important statement, and it is a measured one, because this goes against what used to be a left-wing talking point and has quickly become a right-wing talking point, that Twitter is a private company. So again, they don't have to follow the rules of the Constitution because they're a private entity. However, when it comes to the actual goings on, the actual way that our country works, to suggest that Twitter isn't the new town square, it's just disingenuous. That is what it is. And to treat it any other way is purposely trying to, again, obfuscate reality. And there was another one. We need to protect freedom of speech in order to make our democracy work. Executive Director Jamil Jaffer. The point is that there's a lot going on. We don't even know yet what Elon can do. I think I heard something, and don't quote me on this, but I think there's something like a 6-month period before there's really anything that Elon himself can do as the CEO or the whatever his position is going to be. I'm already seeing people tweet stuff, that would previously have gotten them banned. I don't know if that's a smart idea. I don't know that everything has just changed already. But the fact is, we haven't seen what exactly it is that Elon Musk is going to do yet. He talks a big game and usually follows through on things like that. But again, let's just hold on and let's just see. This looks good. This looks great. This looks like a guy who has the influence and the desire to bring back this free speech, not unfettered speech, but free speech, back to the platform. So let's see. I pulled up a couple of tweets here, and let's see. Let's start with a nice throwback here from 2017. The end of 2017. Elon Musk. I love Twitter. This Dave Smith, not the libertarian Dave Smith that I'm more familiar with it. But you should buy it then. How much is it? Boom. $44 million. It's yours, buddy. Here we have another cute little meme. I don't know if you have heard, but Sean King, the supposed black activist who's actually a white guy and is just the worst kind of grifter, comes in. I'm deleting my Twitter account because of you. I didn't delete my Twitter account. He said he was going to delete it, just like everybody who said if Trump was elected, they were going to move to Canada, and then that didn't happen. Another one here from King Julian. All the celebrities that are complaining about Elon Musk spending his money on Twitter are the biggest hypocrites. Why don't they spend their money on the shit they want Elon to spend it on? Lord knows they have enough of it. Now, that's a great point, because while Elon might be the richest man in the world, that doesn't mean that he has all of the money. That if there was, let's say, 25 celebrities who care about world hunger or climate change or whatever it is, let's just brush aside the fact that this man has the most successful electric vehicle ever, but it's a great point. Where are all the people putting up their money for the things that they're shaming Elon for doing with his money what he wants? Moving on here, we've got skeptic. I'm not reading names. Are the same people that say they are leaving Twitter since Elon bought it the same ones who said they will move to? Same thing. Michael Harriet has an interesting tweet here with some information, some graphs. So if you imagine if you ran a company for 2 decades that never actually made profit from selling a product that you make. That would be Twitter. One day, you call the biggest banks on the planet to borrow $44 billion to buy another company that does not make money. They call you business genius. Yeah. Oh, so that's he's talking about Tesla. So this guy, I misunderstood. So this guy is saying that because so let's see exactly what the image is here. Tesla made more money selling credits and Bitcoin than cars. Okay. Sure. I don't see the issue there. Tesla recorded another profitable quarter in the first 3 months of 2021, even with 2 of its models on the sidelines, posting a net income of $438 million while recording $10.4 billion in revenue. This profit didn't materialize thanks to car sales, however, which is ostensibly the main business of an automaker. Rather, Tesla has has 2 main items to thank for posting a profitable quarter: sales of emissions credits to other automakers and sale of its Bitcoin holdings. So again, I see the argument that it's like, well, he didn't make all his money by selling the cars. But it's like, this is a basic misunderstanding of how business works. You don't make money the first day that you're going into business. And okay, Tesla's been around for a minute. I don't know, when it was founded or any of that. But the idea is that if they are making profit, it's not that they're not profitable. It says that that profit didn't materialize thanks to car sale. I think it would be more accurate to say car sales alone, because I'm sure I see a lot of Teslas around. If the emissions credits are a good thing because we are saving the planet, then I don't understand what the issue is. If you understand that you're getting those emissions credits, then that gives you the incentive to spend the money that it takes to make these expensive vehicles and sell them at a reasonable price. What I don't know what the issue is here. That's not a failing business. That's yeah, that's a net income of $438 million. Like, yeah, why would we want that guy in charge of a business? And then he's got so what is this? Let's full screen. So we've got I guess this is the Tesla stock. Yeah, that looks terrible. This part right here is really bothering me. The part where he's in the green. I don't know. I don't get the point. Net income so then we look at Twitter, and in that time let's compare 2018 to now with Tesla stock. They were in the red, and now they're all the way up here. But we look at Twitter, and they were doing great right around that same time. And then what happened? So I don't understand really what the point that he's making. I thought he was saying Twitter wasn't doing well, and so it makes sense for them to go with Elon, which it does. So I'm not really sure what this guy means. So moving on. The only good thing coming from Elon Musk buying Twitter is the fact that it'll put an end to cancel culture. Now, this is again what I was saying just before. We've got to be careful because we don't exactly know what's going to happen. I am a holder of Bitcoin and also Dogecoin, along with a bunch of other coins. And at first, when Elon was tweeting about Bitcoin and Dogecoin and stuff, it was, the numbers were going through the roof. And but ultimately, the actions that I made based on the actions that Elon made didn't necessarily benefit me in the short term or in the way that I wanted them to. And if I knew what I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, then I probably would have made different moves. So let's not jump the gun. This is definitely a good thing, but it could go sour, and we don't know how good. We don't know how much Elon's going to be able to do with his position. We just don't know. So a couple more here. Nice little meme here for you. So what's this I hear about the leftists are upset I bought Twitter? Well, you know what they could do is create their own social media platform. I'm closing out. If I have to pay for this shit, I'm out. So that's an interesting question. Would you pay for Twitter? So what I've heard is that there's going to be an option, Twitter Blue, where originally the verification process was just to verify that you were human. And it wasn't meant to be any kind of status thing. It was just meant to show that you weren't a bot or something. And then, Twitter just got too big. And so they started limiting it to who would get the check marks. So my understanding is that Elon's vision is to create a paid service where you can pay for a check mark. And not only will that then give everyone the benefits of having a check mark that, it's seemingly they give out arbitrarily, but it will make it increasingly more difficult and more expensive to run bot accounts, sock puppet accounts, spam farms, all that kind of stuff. And so supposedly it will foster the type of discussion that this platform was built for. So I don't know, guys. This is an ongoing thing. Definitely it is far from over. I don't know what's going to happen. I have high hopes. I do think that everything Elon touches turns to gold for him. So the question really is, are my desires aligned with Elon's desires? Because he's going to get what he wants. The question is, does that align with what I want? And does that align with what we want? So let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget about those support links in the description. That could really help me out. And guys, I'm only 10 people away from 200 subscribers. Please, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss anything. But You don't have to do any of that, even though it's completely free to like, comment, and subscribe and share. If you just want to sit at home, think about how great this show is and how awesome I am, you can do that too. Until then, I will see you next time. Peace.